Hi everybody, this is the Analog Planner, and today I wanted to talk about my system, the two notebooks that I carry everywhere, whether it be work or I'm out grocery shopping or with my family. What are the two things that I carry, and how do the two systems complement each other? So as you know, I have the Hobonichi TEcho, which I've been using for about 6 months now, and I'll continue to use until I migrate into the Jibun TEcho. But this is my planner, and in my planner is pretty much everything that I need to know in a week at a glance. So this lives pretty much in my backpack and in my desk, but it's difficult to carry this anywhere else outside of those settings. And so I have found that I've needed a different notebook for that, just to quickly jot down notes, ideas that I have, and other things that I may want to include and for other purposes. So what I have been using for, I'd say, about a year now is the Midori Passport, the traveler's notebook in the passport size. And the reason why I chose the passport size is because it is so portable and it's so small. It can fit in the smallest of purses without any problems. And I always carry this because there's a lot of times where I have to jot down notes, jot down ideas. I'm constantly thinking about things. I have a lot of, things that I do have to deal with as far as brain time and just thinking in general, and having a notebook that allows me to jot down notes really helps. So this is this is pretty much my system. I have my Hobonichi in my backpack, my major planning book, and then I have this as my complement to that. So I thought today I would just sort of talk about what is inside here and how do I use it. So very simple. I have the Passport in the camel version, very pretty. I love the feel of this Midori Passport. You could tell there's a little bit of light coming from under my screen, and it's just beautiful leather, well made, and it has this thing on the side that keeps it all together. So when I open this up, I have, my little card slot here that also goes all the way to the back, and it has, photos of my children in there, little post-it note that I can use. But I really only carry 3 notebooks in this passport. I find that that's the best, that's the number that works best. And as far as keeping this sort of flat and manageable without it being too bulky. So I've kept with the 3 notebook system. My first notebook sort of was the first notebook that I had put in here, and it kind of evolved over time. First, it was sort of part journal, part art journal, part note taking, and but really has now evolved into like my grocery list, right? And reminders to myself. So you can tell there's like my grocery list here. Works really well for that, so that I can just go to the grocery store and jot down everything that I need to buy. I have some journaling here, but for the most part, yeah, mostly groceries, nothing more, which is fine. That's okay, because that's the whole purpose, is to kind of make sure that you use the notebooks for the things that you actually use things for in life. But yeah, so that first notebook is just notes, more like scratch paper and groceries. My second notebook, as you can tell here, it says research notes. So I do a lot of thinking. I'm a doctorate student, and I have to sort of constantly be talking about or thinking about my topic and how the different ways that I can, do research in my field. And so you can tell I really like the graphic paper here format, because I like how it can just sort of help me align all of the writing so that it's neat. And then this is sort of my different notes that I've taken so far, and I have a couple more to fill here. So yeah, this is dedicated specifically to work or school related research, and I love that. The next one is more for creativity. This is watercolor paper. I can't remember the actual company that makes this, but they make it for the size of the Passport. And this is really more for creative purposes. So I've started getting back into watercolor again. I like it because it's super thick and can take up a lot of water without curling. I don't have to tape it down, but I've sort of started things here, and it holds a good amount of paper. It's really good quality watercolor paper, and it wasn't very expensive, so I think this was only like $3 or $4. But yeah, so that's really all I have in my Midori Passport. I don't have a lot of things in here because I really don't, at this point, don't need them. Whatever I have as far as planning goes in my Hobonichi TEcho, and then the rest goes into the Midori. And I try to simplify things. Like I talked about in other videos, I have a very busy life, and so I want to make sure that everything has a purpose, and that if I'm going to do anything beyond that, that it's something that I like to do often, so that I'm not carrying things that really are not being used. And so this is really the system that has worked for me. I've not really used anything else. It's pretty much it. So yes, if you have any questions, whatever planner works for you, I'd like to also hear about that. How do you use your traveler's notebook with your planning system, or whatever else other notebook system that you might have that complement each other, and what is the purpose of that? So yeah, so this is it, and have a good day.